Hey everyone, it's Danielle Marie from the One Realty here in Austin, Texas, to give you your weekly Austin update. So, first and foremost, last week we talked about the plummeting of listings. So, we were over 3,600 in July. Then we ended up at like 1,885 last week. This week, what's changed? Only one. There's only a 1 unit change from this week to last week. So we're going to dive in to the data from January. We're going to compare January 8th data all the way to January 2nd. So what has changed from the last week when we talked? Now, my weekly updates, I'm going to try to do on Wednesday because I really feel like when I capture Wednesday I'll capture all the houses that have gone under contract, typically by Tuesday and before the new listings, which typically hit on Thursday. So we're going to roll into this. And someone requested that I kind of share the information up here. So not only are you going to see the numbers next to me right here, I'll also include it down below. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it at the bottom of the YouTube as well. If you are watching this on X or Instagram, I will post them later on. So without further ado, we're going to hop into what is January 8th. We're in the brand new year. What is happening? So first and foremost, our active listings went down by one. So we have 1,884 active listings. And so we're going to also compare, and this up front will say there's not any major revelation changes that is happening when we're talking about the active listing. So you're going to see that the active listing price, it went up by 1,000. There was no change to the median. The median stayed at 675. You're going to see days on market, no real change. It's up one for the average, down one for the median, reverse that. Now, this is kind of the interesting thing. So when we start talking about the market, so we typically hit our peak of our market when it comes to price reductions. So price reductions were really high. We got up to almost 57% earlier at the beginning of December, and we have actually been teetering off. So this is the number of homes that are active for sale that have had a price reduction. So you can see now we're down to just over 52%. We're at 51.7. So that's kind of giving us an idea that, okay, the number of houses that are being listed that are giving price reductions, they're going down. That also means that we probably do have some houses that people have taken off the market with prices, with price reductions, but just to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Now, the next thing that's on here that I haven't previously talked about is the relistings data. So I've always talked about what's happened over the past 7 days. Where are we having a lot of listings? That's going to let us know for sellers, hey, is the competition heating up? What are sellers thinking of the market? And so you can see we had 154 new listings this week. And that is 100 more than last week. That's to be expected. We don't really expect people to be listing their houses over the holiday, New Year's weekend. Typically the weekend after or the following weekend, second weekend, we'll really see people hammer in and start to join. Now, what is interesting, so right below that, and this is a new data that I haven't been including this data point, but I'm going to start including it. So I'm going to, when houses come back on the market or when they're listed as new listings, there's a couple different ways. You're going to have new listings that come on because they are back on market. So maybe they are not back on market. They are the listing expired. And so when the listing expired, it was re-put on market by either that same agent or a new agent, or maybe it was withdrawn and then it was put on by the same agent or another agent. So I can tell that based on some dates that I can tell, like how many days it's been on market. I can tell that as long as the house has been put on the market within 90 days. So this is a little tip for any seller. Let's say your house has been on the market for a while. And let's say you just want to start, you want a fresh start, you want a new agent. Hey, hit me up, we can talk. But if you want a fresh start here in Austin, Texas, now it's different for different MLSs. If you have had your house on the market and you take it off and you want to put it back on, ideally, if you can wait 90 days. Now, we're in January, 90 days puts you in March. That's a great time to list. If you're thinking about taking your house off the market, let's have a discussion, DM me, and we can talk about, sorry. Do not DM me. If you have your house actively listed with another agent, I cannot talk to you. I'm just going to talk in general terms. Don't message me with that. That is a violation. I'm not saying that. As soon as I started talking that out loud, I realized it. But no, if you have your house in your market and you're taking it off and you want to withdraw it with your current agent or it's coming to the end, leave your house off the market for 90 days. Because then what's going to happen is on that calculator, days on market, it's going to reset to 0. Now, a good agent that's a buyer's agent, is going to realize what you did, because I'm going to pull up the history. Some other agents, they're not going to know. They're going to think it's a new listing, and they have to go back into the listing data to see that you've previously listed your house. So that's just kind of a fresh start. But the reason that also helps, that helps in your algorithm. So when you're on realtor.com, when you're on Zillow, Trulia, all those different sites, when you reset the days on market, it's also going to help for people to view your house. So when it shows up in the algorithm, having a lower days on market is also going to help you there. So there's lots of little tips and tricks to help you when you're selling your home. So if you want to talk about that, not if you have an active agent right now, but if you're thinking about selling, message me and we can talk about it. So next that you're going to see, and this is the 7-day average, this just kind of tracks, hey, what's happening with prices. So you're going to see here, we had a big jump in our average price. Our average price went up by $217,000, but it's still underneath the average for what is currently listed. So no real big shocker there. We just had some low listings that came on the market last week. You're also going to see our median price also jumped up. Once again, last week with the holiday week, we aren't going to see a lot of action happening there. So from here, what we're going to do is we will talk about pending data. So pending data is really, really important. And you look, you're getting a free peek, and I'm going to kind of, so you can't see it before we talk about it. So pending data, this is going to give you an idea of what is in the pipeline. I use pending data a lot of times to kind of get an idea of what is the projection that is going to happen in the following close, so pretty much the following month. Like, what are we going to expect to see in close? So you're going to see here, we dropped down by 14 in our pending week over week. Not surprised. Once again, this data is really going to be what happened the week after the holiday. People are back in school. People are traveling. Big numbers are probably going to be out next week. You'll see that with 14 less that went pending, our average price went down by 21,000, median down by 4, and all of these others, they're all kind of very small for the days on market. Now, listings with the price reduction, there was 8 less. It dropped down by 0.01. So in a nutshell, pending data, pending information, what big changes? Not really for Austin, Texas. There's nothing, any big changes that is going to do anything for you right there. Now, with that being said, we are about to go and we are going to hop down into the sales data, the close data. So this is where we're going to start getting some interesting things. Oh, real quick. One thing I always track, and if you're following me, you'll know that we track this, is we track the week over week how many houses went pending. And so I'm going to start including this in the graph so we can see, hey, how many are what went pending this week compared to what happened the previous weeks. You'll see there's one date, the 31st of December, that I didn't include. And that's because I want to start pulling our pending data on Wednesday, because when we get really into the market, people negotiate. Typically offers are due on Monday, Sunday night or Monday. There's still negotiations going on. Hopefully by the end of Tuesday, anything that was seen over the weekend is now pending. And then it also is before the new data hits on Thursday for the new listing. So I'm going to start tracking it. It's going to be, the numbers are going to come out, and I'm closing it off on Tuesday. So I'm going to look from the previous Wednesday to Tuesday, right? Or Monday to Tuesday, Wednesday to Tuesday. So you're going to kind of see, hey, what happened? So we see that we had 91 listings go pending this past week, more than that week of December 24th, 25th, that week, and actually more than Thanksgiving week. So that's kind of a good sign. Hey, we had more houses go pending this past week than even over that Thanksgiving week. Granted, it was all holidays. The other thing I'm also tracking is interest rates, because you're going to see here, I don't have it for beginning of September, because this is really when I started tracking this weekly. I'm pulling this, but you're going to see when interest rates drop down, we got to like a 6.11. Previously, before this, what you're not seeing is we were at like 123, 124 a week. And so we jumped up all the way to 168 in November. Couple of things. Interest rates went down, and also the election. So the election gave some people some stability with it. So if you're watching now too, feel free, give me a follow, share this so that other people can see information. We're about to get into some really juicy information, because we're going to talk about January year over year, where we are in January now compared to where we were in January last year. The other thing that we're about to hop into is it won't be the official December, but I'll give you a sneak peek into December results here in Austin. And I think it's really, really going to be telling. So go ahead right now, save this post so that you can reference it in the future. Follow me if you aren't already following me, and also repost this so that other people can see it. I'm also monitoring the comments, so if you feel free to leave me a comment if you have any questions. With that being said, I'm going to hop back over and we're going to look at the close data. So this is the close for the past 30 days. So we are down 30, which it's not surprising because typically it's like the end of the month. So you're going to say November is going to be better than December. So I'm expecting that this 30 days is going to be a little lower. Now, no change in the average sales price. That was kind of surprising. The 30-day from last week to this week, the average stayed the same. Our median sale price went up by 5,000. And our days on market, we went up by 1 on both of those. No major changes there. What we are seeing too is we did see on this 30-day, we saw a decrease in our close price to list price. So this is important, especially when you're writing offers, to know what is it for your specific area. Now, this is general in Austin. I can tell you different parts of Austin have different numbers. So I had a client that bought up in the northwest part of Austin, and it was a closer, these numbers were significantly higher. I had a client that just went under contract in South Austin, and these numbers were lower. So it's really going to depend on where you are buying for these numbers. You want to do like a plus or minus 20% of your square footage within a 1 mile radius. You really want to know your numbers when you're putting in your offer to understand what is dictating in the market. So with that being said, you're seeing close price to list price. We're staying around 96% and 97% is the median. So that 3% discount on what the current 3 to 4% on the current list price. Now, what it's not including is if we have to do what the previous list, so original list price. So this is for homes that a lot of times have had price reductions. They're also just going to be it's going to be the current list price. This is where you look from where did their listing originally start. And so here you're going to see it. We're at 92% and we're at 94%. So compared to the original list price, we're seeing kind of a big change. Now, this is all great. I'm giving you numbers, but do you really care? What do you really want? So I'm going to say a lot of people want to know what happened this January compared to last January. Where are we today? And we're going to hop into that. So I'm going to pull those numbers up real quick to share with you. And we're going to look at a few things really quick to see with January. So add this back. Okay, so here we are for January of 25. So far we've closed 67 units. Not surprising. What you are going to notice is some of these numbers are going to drop down. Like you're seeing right now, I'm pulling up, it's 89 already. You're like, oh my gosh. That's because you have to remember some sellers were desperate to get their house under contract before the end of the year. I had an amazing buyer. We just closed and we closed $100,000 under list price. I can't tell you which one, but it was really nice just because of negotiations. I've had a few clients close. We've done very, very well because we knew it was end of year and we figured, hey, let's get them under contract before we go on. So it is possible to make really good offers and get a really good deal. So with that being said, we're seeing this 7,777. If you remember, when we talked about our average close so far in the past 30 days, we're at 829. So you're going, oh my gosh, why is it so low for January? Remember, these are people that snuck in December to get their houses sold. So you're probably going to see a little bit lower numbers in January, and that is normal. January's numbers tend to be lower than December's at the beginning of the month. Now, we'll see what happens at the end. So going back to here, we're going to see January, our average sales, 777. Now let's look at January. This should say January 24. Let me just love this because I have it on an Excel. I can do it. I used to track this on a whole different method. And so I am now putting everything, and I've got creating databases and spreadsheets that you don't see. You're seeing today's month so that I can start graphing and doing all sorts of analysis with it. So I love data, and we're just kind of getting into it. So if you love data, give me a like right now. If you love data, throw it in the comments. I appreciate anyone here. So with that being said, we are going to see that our average sales price is at $56,000 higher than January 24. So here's January 24. We were at 720. This is our sales price. What was the final close price? So we are up 56,000 year over year. Our median sales price is at 4,000. So not really a big difference. What's interesting though, is that our days on market for this year, for the houses that went under contract, it's higher than where we are last year, which we knew, but the sales price is higher. The other thing that's interesting right here, we're at 82 and 71. If we go back to the past 72 days or past 30 days, we're at 72 and 52. So really what probably happened here is we had a lot of investors or buyers that actually went and took advantage of those houses that had been sitting on the market for a long time and made some offers in order to essentially bring a good deal to them. So you're seeing a lot of that. You're also seeing our close price to list price. So before we were at a 96, 97, now you're seeing our averages at 94.75. That's because we had a lot of people, buyers, go significantly under asking to try and get a good deal. It's end of year. It's kind of like when you buy a new car. I got a great deal on a car. I bought a car in December. I think there's no way I would have got that same deal had I bought it this month. Or honestly, maybe November and December, that's it. But I got a good deal. And so you can do the same with houses. But there are still deals out there right now. Now, come February, March, we're going to have more buyers in the market. Unless our number of active listings go up, it's going to make it very, very interesting. So you can kind of compare right here what is January of 25 to what happened in January of 24. The other thing I like to do is I always like to put it in historical context because especially January 23, it was rough. January 23 was not an amazing year. So you're going to see January of, January 24 was not an amazing year. Neither was 23, to be honest. But with that being said, I want to see, hey, what was their 20-year average? So you can see the 20-year average. The median and the average number of sales in January is 610. The median is 597. You look that like last year was nowhere close. Interesting point is back in the highest, like I was thinking the highest we ever sold in January, I was going to say hands down, it was probably 21. Heck no, it was in 2006. So we sold 948 in 2006. And actually, I think in January, and I have this over here somewhere, you can't see it, but January of 21, which is really interesting. I thought we'd have more sales, was only 703. January of 2022 was only 602. So we did not have as many sales as people probably would have guessed that we had. So interesting enough, 06 was when we were just bouncing off at 948. The other thing, our low was in 2010, which that's been the low for all the past couple months. It's always been 2010. It's the recovery after that housing crash that we had in 2008. So right there, that's going to kind of give you an idea. We're already just tearing ahead in Austin. So for January, our numbers may not, because you're looking, hey, right now we're only at 14.96% of last year's sale, and we're significantly further in the month. We're at 10.98% of our 25-year average. So that is January. Now, here's the big ticker. And so especially when people start looking at The Economist and stock and they're trying to see like, what is going to happen to the market and what's some leading indicators. And we talk about butts and seats, returning to office. We've had some big announcements. Who knows where Meta is going to end up in Texas or Facebook. We do have some Facebook out here, and we have Meta out here already. But let me go ahead and let me give you a peek under the curtain. Now, this is not the official numbers for December, but we are going to see them later on. They actually turned out significantly better. There was an issue with when I've been transcribing my December number before now. But I just want to show you where we are for December. So December of 24, so far we've closed 624 houses. That is an 8.9% year over year increase. So we did sell more houses than last year. This is the shocking number right here, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, our average sales price went up $88,000. So I've been reporting 788, and that was actually the list price, not the closed price. The closed price for last year was at 746. That was the average, 746 last year. And we shot up this year to 834. The median sales price, 565. We shot up to 620. This is huge news. The fact that we went up this much in December. This shows that a couple of different things. One, sellers last year were still giving a lot away. Two, sellers this year, they've kind of tightened up everything significantly, which you can see right here in our ratios, our closed price to list price ratios. So here it is currently, but I think this is even better what you're going to see right here. We went up in our closed price to list price. We went up to our closed price to original list price. Our big one was the median for closed price to original list price was up 1%. That's pretty big. I mean, if you start looking at numbers and seeing where they are, that's pretty big. So you'll also see we typically close. So you're going to see these numbers right here, 887, 896. Here was our low, our high in 2006 for 1132 again, and our low at 572. That should say December. I was copying and pasting all of this. So there bear with me. This is the first time, and all this data is start going into the Excel so I can keep track of it and go for that. But let me end here and just say that. So first and foremost, the biggest summary of this is that we are, is that we are seeing an increase in the sales price. We are also, and people are saying, hey, I know that you mentioned listings dropping off and plummeting. Oh, that's seasonal. Correct. It is seasonal. I'm not saying it's because of sales. But what I am saying is it's supply and demand. So when we're taking that supply away and our supply goes down, I can tell you I have had more buyers talking now and willing to go with over 7% just to get a house because they have certain feelings about it than I have in the past like year and a half. So I had buyers that it was in like the low sixes, they weren't acting. And all of a sudden they reached back out when it got over 7. They're like, you know what? I'm ready to move. I'm going to make a move. Let's do it. And that's just kind of like a, hey, this is up. I also have cash buyers. A lot of buyers, if people want to know like, hey, here, what am I seeing on the ground? A couple of things. People moving to Austin. I'm seeing those buyers. They're coming in here and they're buying. I'm seeing people that have been renting in Austin for a while that are starting to buy at that point. Those are all, a lot of them have been cash. And I still am seeing the people that are now willing to go and pay that 7%. Now, we've adjusted their housing prices, so maybe we're not where they want it to be previously, but it's lower pricing. But at the same time, the prices have kind of gone down. So it's kind of a win-win. So with that, my name is Danielle Marie from the One Realty here in Austin, Texas. I love data. I'm a data nerd. If you like this, do me a favor, save this so that you can reference it later on, or that if you save it, you'll also be able to find me later on and be like, who's that nerdy girl that was talking about Austin real estate? Save it, you'll find me. Feel free to give me a comment, give me a like. Appreciate you all. I hope you have an amazing new year and best wishes to everyone there. And feel free, if you're not in Austin and you enjoyed this too, and you're looking for an agent in a different area, I know a lot of data nerds, so I can match you up with another real estate agent that is a data nerd like myself.